going on, everybody? Thank you guys so much for joining us today. This is episode 33 of the Heroes and Mutants podcast. I'm Nick with my co-hosts
Ruben,
Thomas,
and finally
formerly known as Josue. I should have said Hamas, formerly known as
the guy-
James.
He's
I
cool.
know.
the guy to my right always has a new name every week.
I
He
do.
does.
That's-
Will he be new?
Yeah, well, he's an enigma, so of course we're.
That's very true. You
Like
never know
Edward
what you're gonna
Nigma.
get.
How you guys doing today?
Enigma.
How's everybody doing this week?
Ooh,
Feeling mysterious right
I
now.
like what you
don't
do
know
with
about
that. Ooh, mysterious.
So mysterious, they're going to be the Riddler for Halloween. Or that not that much of an enigma.
I'll give it some thought.
I'll take that as a yes.
I'll give
Nah,
it
he's
some
going to be
thought.
Legolas. We've already had this
You
discussion.
got 3 weeks to dye that hair blonde.
I'm
How about
not
you?
dyeing my black hair
Blonde.
blonde.
How about you,
It's
Ruby?
not
How you
gonna
doing, man?
happen,
I'm
bro.
doing well, man. I'm doing well. You know, hanging in there, trying to stay as productive as possible because you know, things are going back to normal little
Mhm.
by little, but it's still not safe.
Yeah.
Or at least play it safe when we
Yeah,
do go out
definitely.
there, you know.
Don't listen to that.
How about you,
But
Josie?
yeah,
Take
don't
care
listen to
still.
this guy right here. This
about you,
guy's
Josie?
an idiot.
Good. Working, staying safe.
Definitely.
Chilling.
So we have a lot of awesome material to go over today. There's a lot of great news. And for all of you guys who stick around to the end, we have a special surprise for you. So
Yes,
make
we
sure you
do.
hang out, wait till the end, and we'll see what we're talking about. So all that being said, let's get started. So breaking news, this was actually pretty much what we were expecting, or makes a lot of sense because of what happened last week with Jamie Foxx being
What happened
cast.
last week with Jamie Foxx?
He got cast as Electro.
Oh, yeah,
or
that's
he's
right.
reprising his role
I'm
from.
just kidding.
So it's been revealed that Benedict Cumberbatch is gonna be
Yes,
reprising his role as
yes.
Doctor Strange in the Untitled Spider-Man 3 film. So was this really a surprise considering Jamie Foxx's Electro from The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is confirmed to be reprising his role in that movie also?
No, it's not a surprise at all. I think they're really going to go for the multiverse route. Because if you think about Doctor Strange and the multiverse of madness. Now, here's another thing.
Okay.
They're bringing in Electro, who could possibly be the Electro from The Amazing Spider-Man. Doctor
Yes.
Strange is being directed by Sam Raimi, the
Sam,
director of the first 3 Spider-Man movies. So this is an opportunity for them to open up a lot of things. And I think that would make a lot of sense that they would, in the multiverse of madness, would incorporate some of Sam Raimi's world because it's already the filmmaker who worked on it. So I think they're opening the doors for some kind of big multiverse plan. So it's not shocking at all. I'm pretty sure now that now that this is confirmed, Jamie Foxx is the Electro of the Amazing Spider-Man 2, unfortunately. But let's improve it though, because
Yes.
we're going
Well,
back
that's
as
Marvel,
we
Marvel,
can't.
and Marvel
Yeah.
has the money to change
Exactly.
it.
So what did you think, man? Were you
Definitely.
surprised
Um,
with this or expecting it?
I wasn't expecting it, but when it comes to a surprise, I'm not shocked. Because I could see them, you know, trying to, like you say, expand the universe when it comes to the MCU. And I've already mentioned it a couple of times too, where Sony is, you know, they've already confirmed that they're trying to make it work with Marvel and, you know, Fox, you know, was Disney, right? What Disney
Fox-
basically?
Fox is owned by Disney
Yeah,
now.
so it's Disney now. Yeah, so basically Disney, they're trying to work with Disney where to the point where like, okay, you still own the rights to, you know, Marvel or whatever MCU, but you don't own the rights to Spidey yet. But let's make it work.
Sony, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you don't own they don't own the full rights to Sony or to Spidey. So I can see them working together. Like I said, they're trying to just expand the universe. Because like I said, them doing this, bro, they're already introducing him. Oh man, but it's like talking about Electro now. I'm just excited. Let's just say that I wasn't expecting it, but I was not surprised either.
Definitely. What about you, Josh?
We all saw it coming for some reason.
For real? I didn't see
I
him
did.
coming out.
I
You saw
it.
him
I
coming out in
saw it.
Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, I mean,
Explain yourself, please.
I think I get why.
But I didn't
Explain.
expect that.
You didn't expect that?
Not him, at least. I could have seen another actor some way, somehow.
It's
But
the
nah.
closest person to him.
All right, here's
Well,
another
They
thing.
only, like,
Because
state
they were in
divided
space. I get you on
No,
that.
not that. But
Well, how's he closest to
city,
him?
like sit between
Well,
states and cities, like
It
Come
makes
on,
sense.
Captain
Is he-
America's there too.
Yeah, but it makes
Yeah, but
sense
why
that
you
he
get-
would
there
would
is no Captain America, and at the time,
Not that we know yet.
Well, you're getting the show, which is gonna come out either before or after the movie. So
I think Jimmy has
That's what I'm
something really
saying.
brewing
Anything
on his
can
mind
happen.
he needs to get to.
Okay, and I think I know why Josh would expect that because the multiverse thing has been swirling around in rumors, and I think it started with I know that's DC with Batman, and we started hearing things about Electro coming back, and then I think if you think about knowing that Doctor Strange is already going to be a multiverse, I guess it makes sense that would be the character.
Well,
to
not
try to bring them.
necessarily. I don't think so because we were gonna have Craven, right? So
We could
Well,
still have Craven.
it wasn't
It's not
confirmed. We don't
Craven.
really know what they're planning for the villain
yeah,
It was just that's what
There's
they
gonna
was
be two villains
expecting.
for sure. There's gonna be two villains for sure in the movie.
yeah.
I still don't. I understand that
Mhm.
concept. If you guys are right, I'll props. You guys heard it here first. But if it doesn't, like that's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna be surprised if it didn't. You're gonna be
Right.
disappointed, right? If it doesn't happen.
And I think the rumor
I'm already
is
excited
that
for Spider-Man 3, so whatever comes
I've-
to the movie, I'm happy.
I have a question for you guys. What do you think of what they're saying they're going to do with Doctor Strange? He's going to be in the mentor role previously.
that's what I was
occupied
going
Yeah.
to mention right now.
by Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark and Sam Jackson's Nick Fury.
I think
Is this going to work?
I think the only thing, this is something I think my biggest issue I think I had with this version of Spider-Man for the MCU / Sony partnership is that fact it just feels like he can't stand on his own two legs by himself. I understand the first film, when we first saw him, it really built up this relationship between him and Tony Stark, which makes a whole lot of sense. He was a kid. He didn't exactly know what exactly it was, how he was really somebody who wanted to be an Avenger. And I was really excited for Far From Home because I thought it would have been dealing with those aspects of him finally coming into his own character. But then it was like Nick Fury was there, Happy Hogan was still around, and there was a lot of talk about him wanting to fulfill Iron Man's legacy. So I just feel like they're just not really. And then knowing too that now they're saying there's a good chance that Doctor Strange is going to be a mentor type. I just feel like they're not letting him be his own person. And I understand.
Hoping it's only for one
Yeah.
film. And then they
So do
drop
I.
it because I don't want to see we can only see Peter Parker being mentored. He's
Yeah.
supposed to
Unless
be
they're
the
just
star of
mocking his
Marvel.
growth.
No, but check it out. You guys already caught it. I don't know. Josh had caught it early on in the series, where you guys were already calling him the next leader of the Avengers, right? You guys recall saying that, and then you guys are already here complaining already that it's already too soon for him to be.
No. I'm saying they need to get past the mentor roles. I mean,
But they can. It's a whole storyline that he just lost Tony. He's not in the right state of mind. Continue moving forward with that to be the own leader. They're gonna do Doctor Strange. I like that. Okay, they're still being mentored. I could see another movie, maybe even. All right, 2 movies, right? So it's gonna be Doctor Strange and then another one maybe. And if they do a third one, they could be reaching. But if it happens, they have to play it right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because even you, like I said,
Well,
I could
it's
see
'cause
him
he's
being the
also
leader
a
too, but he's still
young-looking
young.
actor, too.
Exactly.
So,
They still have time with him.
They're
They
milking,
still have
they're
time
milking
with
the
him.
time with it, like you said.
That makes
They're
sense. I think
milking it. That's the perfect
that's
word.
just my only
right now.
real gripe with this version of Spider-Man. It just feels like he isn't able to make
I
his
want
own
to see
decisions.
him grow
and-
into his own
Yeah,
already.
and
I
think-
want to see the Spider-Man
But we
that's
have to
not
see
a high
another
school
more
kid
adult
anymore, who's
version
swinging around the
of
Big
Tom
Apple
Holland.
and
Definitely.
working for the Daily
That's what I'm
Bugle.
saying. You're gonna have to wait like 2 more
Yeah.
years for that.
And
Well, not years in our time,
Unless
but
he
years in
randomly grows a
Marvel.
beard, like,
Yeah,
in
we're gonna
a
wait a while.
couple
We had
months,
to.
like-
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I feel like there's also going to be a push for, especially now. There's a bunch of rumors saying that Tobey Maguire is supposed to be reprising his role too.
I'm
so
sure.
That's for the multi-
With
I
Sam
think
sure with
Raimi-
Sam Raimi coming back, of
No,
course.
see, this is why I think that that's where
That's
I
a
agree with
little
the whole
too much.
Doctor. No, that's where I agree with the whole Doctor Strange theory, where the whole multiverse comes in.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes it easier because Doctor Strange is gonna be the one hopping over and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Or he's gonna have something to do where he's just connected to
Yeah.
every freaking timeline some way somehow.
But
So
this
instead of mixing
Spider-Man 3 is
stuff-
coming out before Multiverse of Madness, right?
Wait,
I actually
what?
don't know. I'd have to check that.
Because they're supposed to be filming this very soon.
Could you repeat that? Which one did you say?
I think they're going to be filming Spider-Man 3 before Multiverse of Madness, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, the thing production
No,
starts next Friday for.
I think multiverse.
or they
is-
might be
for the
filming
Spider-Man
around the
3.
same time.
But I still think Doctor Strange is
Yeah,
coming
but
out first.
it
right?
looks like it's filming next week.
Spider-Man 3?
Yeah.
Probably that's what it looks like according to.
So
Sarah
I think
Glenn.
that was it too, because I think they're going to be filming around the same time, and they're filming Multiverse of Madness in London, and they're going to be mainly filming Spider-Man 3, I think, in Atlanta, because they mainly, besides obviously Far From Home was set in Europe, so it was mainly filmed in Europe, but I think this is depending on what the setting is going to be, it's mainly probably going to be filmed in Atlanta. So that's also something too, and I don't really think Doctor Strange might not have that big of a role for that reason. That's just my suspicion.
Random thought, but opinion of what I think could happen.
All right.
Hear me out and see if you guys think it's dumb or not.
Didn't go.
Damn. Ruthless. Let's hear it, Josh.
Let's hear it, baby.
I have an answer to your question after though.
Damn it, no, man.
While you're thinking about
yes,
that,
yes.
while you're thinking about
Wasn't
that,
that
so
important?
December 17th is supposed to be the release date for Spider-Man
It's going to get pushed
there
back
you go.
probably.
3 for 2021, and Multiverse of Madness is March 25th, 2022. So yeah, Spider-Man 3 will be coming first.
Okay, so
Spider-Man 3 will be coming first.
Yeah.
So see,
December
then
next
that
year.
the whole
No, 'cause
then that whole theory
'Cause that
doesn't
could-
make sense. Then.
Okay, so now hear me out, because now this is my theory. So we're having.
Also, you're switching it up now?
No, this is what I was thinking, and now that he said that, I kind of maybe see if it goes through. So what about if the whole WandaVision, you know how she's gonna be creating multiverses that's gonna end up leading up to what Doctor Strange is with him, and then because there's already talks of her coming out in that movie as a villain.
Well, WandaVision's coming out before
Yeah, that's why
Spider-Man
it's a
3,
show.
right?
Yeah. So what if her mixing in throughout like the timelines and making those, for some reason, one of those portals opens up in Spider-Man, and that's how you get Electro from whatever the
Could be.
Amazing Spider-Man.
Could be. We don't
and
know.
then Doctor Strange just comes to like, hey, like this is.
It could be. We don't really know. So it's good to speculate,
don't
but
know.
it's
That's just like something that came to my head.
Like I said, if you get it, you
Yeah.
heard it here first.
yeah. It makes a whole lot of
Right.
sense. I think there's a good chance we might be seeing Tobey Maguire pop up reprising that role. That would be really cool.
I'd like that,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Instead
Definitely.
of Andrew
I'd
Garfield,
really
they
like
just
that.
give him another world.
So it's exciting news. We pretty much knew it was coming. I don't think it was more of a shock. Obviously, Electro Jamie Foxx reprising his role than Doctor Strange coming back. So good things coming ahead, and I can't wait for it. So how about you guys? You guys all set on that?
I'm pretty excited for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
Spidey.
There was other interesting news that just developed today too. A Green Lantern series has been ordered for 10 episodes on HBO Max with Seth Graham Smith and Mark Guggenheim writing, which will feature Guy Gardner, Jessica Cruz, Simon Baz, and Alan Scott, the original Green Lantern. And thoughts, and is it a little weird that there has been no mention of the more popular Green Lanterns like Hal, John, or Kyle appearing?
I think it is pretty weird.
I think
I
so.
mean,
Yeah.
it could be a hype thing to be honest, because I know that they like to
Mhm.
dole out information slowly. So if they want to sustain hype and not
Mhm.
just have become old, you want to announce very
Yeah.
slowly.
Yeah.
Well,
This
and it's
one,
gonna be a
Yeah.
series,
like
right?
you gotta, yeah.
It's going to
So
be a
this-
10 episode
but
series.
when it comes to HBO, they don't mess around neither.
No,
So if
but
you do
overall,
hear, if you
it could be a
do,
developing timeline where you're gonna get not the original popular
I
Green
think-
Lanterns, but you're gonna get a side story of people that maybe got them later on.
And I do
a
think that they
segue.
probably will like make their way to the main ones. I see it since it's a series, and the Green Lantern is such like a vast mythology with different ones that there's different ways they could play with it. So I think we'd have to hear a little bit more about what
I
their
don't know.
plans
What they're
are.
gonna have competition with the C-Dub then, because when the C-Dub already introduced, them, when they ended the not Infinite Crisis, of
Crisis
Earth,
on Infinite
Crisis
Earth.
on Infinite Earth, freaking they already showed like there was gonna be a new Green Lantern, a Black Green Lantern. So I don't know if HBO is gonna do it, or unless that's why they're not. Okay. Well, then here's my little mix in that. Then maybe they're gonna connect them some way somehow down the line. Like you said, there's gonna be some introduction to the Green Lanterns,
Mhm.
the Green Lantern Corps,
Mm.
but it's not gonna be the main characters. And then C-Dub's gonna step in and do that. Like, all right,
Yeah.
they already introduced the Green Lantern Corps. So now they're gonna introduce the main Hell or the main other characters. We're like, okay, we already had them. We already have them
But would
introduced.
you rather see the main characters be in like the series that HBO could produce, since they have more of a bigger budget?
Not
And it's
as-
higher
not-
quality.
Higher
It has
quality than
better
it
quality,
being in
and
the
they could be
CW?
more rated R.
Hold
with
your
it.
phone on that.
Yeah,
Because
hold your
I
thought
have
on that too.
I have some critique on that.
Because I like how you said that, because I had something to with that. But like I said, the C-Dub has been killing it right now. The way they've been
Yeah.
working with their main characters, so I feel
It's
like
more
if they're
interesting.
yeah.
Definitely.
So that's what I'm saying. If they're gonna, that's what I'm saying. HBO, they're gonna introduce
Mhm.
Green Lantern Corps. I think that's the
So,
way they're going right now.
I'm excited to see it, and I thought it was a little bit interesting because Alan Scott was more with. He's the original Green Lantern, obviously, kind of like Jay Garrick. So I find it a little bit weird. And
Oh, that's
this
true.
was
Yeah.
back before Green Lantern was a sci-fi character. His powers were more mystical. He had a cape. It was a little bit weird, and I found it a little interesting that they were gonna have him in this series. So that's a little bit of a side note, but I think the thing I'm a little bit worried about is Mark Guggenheim. He's actually done a lot of work for the CW. He created Arrow. He
Good show.
also Legends
Yep.
of Tomorrow.
Sound
He
like a good
actually
show.
wrote Green Lantern, the 2011 movie with Ryan Reynolds. So I don't know if this is the exact person. And he wrote Percy
Uh-oh.
Jackson's Sea of Monsters, which that was pretty trash too. So I'm just there's
no.
and I don't really, for me, I don't really care for the CW as much. I think there are things that are, I feel like they're doing better now, but especially some seasons of Arrow, and
I think
especially
you
towards the
offended
end.
somebody in the studio right now.
Yeah.
Percy Jackson.
Well, no, I think they're
Trash.
doing better things now.
The movie.
No, they're doing
The
better.
movie.
They're doing better things now, but some seasons of Arrow were hit or like my main gripe, like I said, with the CW is they tend to dramatize and create so much freaking love triangles with, like, if you go back to the first season of Arrow or first 2 seasons, he slept with like 9 different women and he was always involved with, I'm like, do we really need this? Like, this is a guy on a mission to correct the wrongs of his family, and who's supposed to be now, I've come home with one vision. With
all
one
work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
It's just, I just don't like that aspect of the CW. Like I said, there were good things about it, but some of it was very hit and miss.
No, I get what you mean. I think I don't actually mind that you say like having the love interest, so long as it's not handled in a teeny.
But it wasn't done in a good way.
Yeah, so I get what you mean, but I'm not opposed to that idea though.
No, I'm not either. If it's written in a good way, but it just wasn't written in a good way.
Fair enough. So this extra information now actually alters my view. Now I'm a little bit more hesitant to get excited for this.
I think it's interesting because they're going with characters that are not as popular, not as well known. Like the funny thing is Guy Gardner. Nobody likes Guy Gardner. The best thing that ever happened to him was he got punched out by Batman in the comics, and Black Canary was kind of upset that she missed it. But
we're gonna just have to see how this goes. Like this is a. On the one hand, I mean, if nothing else, it'll probably have a good budget. For instance, on HBO, it's probably going to look good. If nothing else, it's going to have a good production design.
But I'm hoping for it.
Well, and Kilowog and Sinestro are rumored to be appearing in the show as well. So, like I said, it's just interesting to me because I remember when they first announced the film, The Green Lantern Corps, and they were saying that Hal and John were going to be in it, who are my 2 favorite. Well, I never really got into Kyle, so I need to read more into him. But I think just because I seen and saw more related towards Hal and John, and especially, John is just freaking awesome. I don't think anybody can not like John, and he was a perfect fit for Green Lantern because obviously he was an architect before, so it makes sense why he was chosen as the Green Lantern because his constructs are going to be naturally better than pretty much anybody else. So it's just interesting. I'm just kind of baffled that they're going with lesser known characters, but
I'm more baffled by the choice for series creators. However, this is interesting. Graham Smith, the other one, he
seems more talented. I think he
was one of the worked on the Lego Batman movie. It's pretty good.
Okay.
And Dark Shadows, which was okay. And he also wrote the novel that Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter is based on in Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. And he was the producer on the recent It movies and the Child's Play reboot.
Oh yeah, I heard about that too. Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe.
I'm more confident. I mean, he doesn't have the best resume, but definitely more confident in him than Guggenheim.
Well, also, you have to get a good writer's room.
Exactly.
It's not just the showrunners. You have to have a good team. So if you can get a good team, maybe they could elevate the material.
Without a doubt.
I'm still excited for it, but like I said, I would be more on the hype train if Hal and John and Kyle were appearing.
See, that's not even that's not even why I'm not excited. To me, it's the creators behind it.
That's it too. But I've just been more of a fan of those guys. So, like I said, it was interesting that they went with characters that weren't as known and are a little bit more diverse. Especially they got a woman, and then Alan Scott is actually gay in the comics too. Yeah. So it feels like they're trying to add a diverse cast.
I think eventually they're probably going to get to all of them.
I mean, they have
to, especially if the series is a success. I mean, Green Lantern has such a complicated mythology with like all the different versions and all.
Well, if you figure, I mean, Alan Scott wasn't even sci-fi until like Hal Jordan came along, and nobody knows that he was actually the first Green Lantern
because Hal Jordan is the most popular one. I would say
split between Hal, John, and Kyle. Probably more so Hal and John, but people like Kyle.
Yeah, he's okay.
So. And it's interesting we're talking about series because it's been revealed that another character is going to be getting his own series. Nick Fury, after more than 10 years, is finally getting his own TV show. Are you guys excited about Samuel Jackson finally headlining his own series?
I am. I ain't gonna lie, it's a long time coming, to be honest. I don't know what took them so long to do it. So is it gonna be like a sequel to everything?
Well, they haven't revealed when it's gonna take place. If it's gonna be pre-Avengers, like when he was
kept
going
under wraps.
Yeah, if it's going to be modern after in this when he was with the Skrulls, or if it's going to be pre like Captain Marvel, that era,
the way I can see them working it is the way they're doing WandaVision. You know how one's going to be like, well, I guess because she's going through timelines, leading up to something. It was like back in the days, sitcom, and then it went to the way they really are. I could see them doing that with Samuel, maybe like a three-part version to the series where it's like a prequel, and then it's some interns when he's trying to build the Avengers,
Mhm.
and then everything afterwards. I don't know.
Here's
But
a-
I'm excited. That's all I gotta say because,
Yeah.
like I said, it's a long time coming. He's a hell of an actor. He's been in so many great movies, and this is Marvel, so I want to see what they could do with him as a main actor in his own series.
my question is what kind of what tone they're gonna have and what they're gonna be going for, because even though Nick Fury is a serious character, I feel like he brings like a lot of fun humor to the MCU, because Samuel L. Jackson, it's his attitude and like
And he's
Yeah,
funny
he's
about
funny,
it.
like,
Yeah. Naturally funny.
it wasn't an Endgame when he disappeared. He was mother, and they cut it off
Yeah.
just like Samuel L. Jackson always does. But
Or telling
So-
telling Tom Holland, bitch, please.
yeah,
Yeah.
shit like that. So I imagine do you guys think they're gonna go for a more fun tone with this one because
Well,
the nature of Nick Fury?
It just
and
Both.
depends.
Samuel L.
It
Jackson?
depends
Both?
on
Okay.
it depends on the setting, how it's going to be. If it's going to be more of kind of like what Captain America: Winter Soldier was, where it's more kind of spy thriller, then it's not going to be that kind
Spy
of.
thriller with a kind of comedic lead character.
Yeah.
then. Okay.
I think it
That
could be
makes sense.
something
I
like
think
that.
works.
I think it's just interesting because like he's been in this universe for over 10 years now, and he was always a supporting character. And I think they can get away with it just with the fact that it's Samuel L.
Mhm.
Jackson. I think
Yeah.
any other actor, it would have been. He's been a supporting. That's all he's. It's like you're not going to see.
He deserves to be.
You're not going
the
to see
lead.
Mark Ruffalo whole headlining his own show or his own movie. Well,
No,
also
that's
too
because of
litigation,
Universal.
but still, that's
Mhm.
I would want him to, but that's a whole
Yeah.
different topic.
I'm
no.
actually
Bring
really
back
excited.
bring
for
back
this.
Edward Norton. Hashtag. We miss you, Edward.
Hey, with the whole
Might be.
with the whole but it
Might be.
sucks though because it's the same one now. But imagine if they did have a multiverse where we did had Edwards and then
Mhm.
we had Mark. But
Yeah.
from we know right now they're the same dudes. So it's
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
So
that's the only thing that
I'm
sucks about
happy
it.
for Samuel L. Though. I
yeah,
think this is
he
pretty
deserves
cool.
it.
I think it's gonna
Hey,
be a fun
but
show.
the way they're doing it with Spider-Man is
Anything
is
could
really the
happen.
same. Exactly.
Mhm.
Anything can happen.
So
I know it's random, but I loved him in Homecoming when he kept shooting people with like arrows as they walked into the room. Whenever
Oh,
he
He's
had
like, if
men
another
knocked out.
person
Yeah, another person comes
walks
in.
in or knocks
Yeah.
into that door.
The stuff like that. Nick Fury makes me smile, dude. He's great.
Yeah. Very something
Another
to be
person.
excited for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
It's
just
just
I'm highly
charisma.
excited.
yeah, he just.
Yeah.
It's what he brings.
It's Samuel Jackson. No one's gonna. Never
Well, it's
No
just
one's gonna
that
complain
it's just
about
that,
that.
energy, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say he's gonna be both, dude. He's gonna bring that like that humor, you know, that funny
Mhm.
feel to it, but he's also gonna bring that badass mother. You know what I'm
Mother
saying?
effer
quality.
Yeah, exactly. That that's what I
So-
love about that.
All that being said, let's move on to animation now.
Ooh.
So
Alright,
obviously, you
let's
guys
do
knew
it.
this was coming. We've been meaning to talk about it for a while. So the animated series Harley Quinn has just been renewed for season 3. Is it crazy to think that this show has been so well received and has such good ratings, considering how over the top and how much of a parody it is?
It's
No,
Harley Quinn. She's the boss right now.
And
I'm
it's-
not surprised.
And
Mhm.
especially with the live action going on right now with
Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie,
yeah.
it only attracts that character. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It intrigues fans.
And
I
it's
should
not
say.
just only her. It brings every villain that they have in.
Exactly.
Like they have,
Yes, that's what I want to say. It's
Shark,
just all on her. It's just the
Poison
character
Ivy.
itself.
I'm not surprised that it's a hit because one, it reminds me a little bit of like the Adult Swim comedies like Rick and Morty,
Yes,
or
yes.
Venture Brothers, where it's that type of adult humor, kind of edgy. Now, one of the reasons I think it works and why fans are responding well to it, because like you said, it is a parody, it is over the top, and they're kind of making fun of it. But the humor, a lot of the humor, I think, only makes sense if you're a big Batman fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Commissioner Gordon is kind of a doof on that show.
And
But
he
the
is.
thing is that you might
Possibly on drugs.
possibly on drugs and coked out, but the thing is
at
that
those times,
you
when
would
you're
not
divorced.
find that as funny if you didn't understand Commissioner Gordon as a character in the first place.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
like that it takes
Mhm.
it uses Batman's fans' knowledge against them to draw out jokes and humor. So
Yeah.
it's like poking fun at it a little bit, but you could tell it's written and
Right.
made by fans or people who are very
Right.
familiar with every different version
Mhm.
of Batman, and having the Tom Hardy Bane parody that they have on there, which
And
is great.
even though it's his look is more like classic Bane, the luchador, and at the same time that he speaks like Tom
Yeah.
Hardy.
Yeah.
But
And
I've
over the
moved-
top with his voice, and he's
I
always
never
he's
noticed
like
that.
the
now that you brought it
nicest.
up.
Dude, he's
that-
funny.
he's like
in
the
that.
Not until you brought it up,
Yeah.
friend.
He's
I
like a
didn't
guy
realize
who
that.
shouldn't even be a villain. He kind of just gets sucked into things, and he's
Yeah.
trying to be
He's
tough
goofy.
and and
Perfect
sturdy,
example.
but
Yeah.
he's always wanting to blow things up, and he's always getting mad. It's just really funny.
My favorite my favorite line from Bane so far is when Joker was bossing him around and like telling him what to do after he's like, I didn't like when you called me a monster. It's stuff like that with like in that voice, like the vocal delivery.
Like when he's like ordering at Starbucks or whatever.
Caffeine is my reckoning.
Bang. He's like, Bang. You know this, Todd. My name is Bane. It turns out the Joker was paying him to write down Bang on his to call him Bang or write that down on his order, and he wanted to blow up the shop.
It sounds funny, but they almost make Bane like this big, goofy,
Yeah.
borderline lovable character
Yes.
in it. It's
Like
just funny.
you
to
just see
that.
him, and he's like the nicest guy ever, and he's always and he's not getting overtly mad. Like he gets bossed on, he gets picked around, and he kind of like, oh, well that.
Well, he's like,
Just
if you
every
think about
time-
it, he's kind of like the way Tom Holland is, just a different version.
Tom Hardy.
No, Tom Holland, how he is as Spider-Man.
Mhm.
Like, he has that goofy side, and like they treat him.
Bane?
No.
Yeah, the way they treat, the way you guys
Bane
are
just
comparing
seems
him.
like he's a softie instead of being just tough. Like,
I think
it's break
it's
the back.
I think
Like,
it's just
no.
meant to be a
He'll-
parody of the
he'll-
fact that he's
He'll
very.
get the vaporu and he'll rub it on your back if it hurts, you know.
I think it's just the
on
fact that he's just he's known as being big and brutal and
Yeah.
ruthless, and the fact he's just very soft and very
Understanding.
understanding, and then like he's very naive, easily taken advantage of. Like season 2, Harvey Dent, Two-Face is really takes advantage of his kindness, and gets him a chair, and he's like so happy.
You know what I also think works is the portrayal of Batman, because Batman is serious and brooding like he's supposed to be. He's vaguely goofy, but not so goofy that it comes across as like, oh, you fucked up Batman, or sorry, if you messed up Batman, or it was a parody or whatever. I'll keep it. It seems like they get a good balance, and I just think it's funny. I think they go the humor is a little bit surprising. A lot of political references and weird stuff that you would never expect to pop up in Batman. I can picture it and not working for everybody.
Yeah,
because of
ultra violent also.
Yeah,
like
and it's
it.
gory.
That's what's
It's
the
super
best.
gory.
Rated R, man. Rated R.
I thought it was interesting that this relationship dynamic between Harley and Poison Ivy, because correct me if I'm wrong, did they ever have any kind of intimate sexual relationship
On the show?
No, in the comics.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, has it ever truly been hinted? Is this more hinted, or it's more subtle?
I think it's usually done a little more subtle, but I think it's always kind of suggested that Harley and Poison Ivy have a thing going on. And I think it even goes back to the animated series on that episode, Harley and Ivy. If you go back and watch it,
you're right.
there's a lot of innuendo in there that kind of was not
it's
really
even-
appropriate
But I meant-
for children's
I
shows.
meant as far as that, it was always subtle. It wasn't really thrown out there as much.
That they're gonna
And
have a relationship.
now obviously they're just straight, having them be in a relationship.
but
But
it's
they're
an adult
making her-
show.
Yeah.
So I
And
kind
I
of
think the way the writing is, it makes a whole lot of sense. Like I think even in the first season, she says like, "I'll always love you," or "I'll always care about." She says something like that, knowing
Yeah, I have to.
what she's going through too. Trying to. It actually makes sense with a lot of. They actually even took a little bit of inspiration from Margot Robbie's version of Harley Quinn, where
Yeah, I
in the
could see
movie
that.
she was really trying to separate and find out who she was away from the Joker, and I think that makes a whole lot of sense. And it's also a way I think they try to have some continuity with what they were doing. They didn't just, even though it was a little very over the top and very different, they still wanted to have it be something that made sense with her character and not have it just only be a parody. And it still fits in line with a version of the character that we know.
I like
and
it.
more independent. Because
Okay.
like even in the New 52, that's where that whole thing of her becoming independent and being her own person and trying to break away from the Joker's control.
I like it also because I think the characters are likable. It's weird because they're all villains or bad guys, but they almost portray villainy and bad guys just a bunch of friends going around and goofing off. They have
trying to make destruction.
the cowled critic, which is like basically like those YouTube videos,
Yeah.
like fan nerd videos, like complaining about everything, and they have one for like super villains and just a lot of stuff. Like it makes you surprisingly like care about them as like family members, almost the way that they band together, and it kind of does what
I do agree
Suicide
with
Squad should have done. It makes you like care for all of
That's what
these-
is lacking.
Well, yeah, because like they all
basically.
go to Penguin's son's bar mitzvah, and they're all
Oh,
just
that was
eating
great.
and chilling. And
Damn.
And who's the
And-
penguin? It was let me see.
voicing, Jason Alexander, I think.
I'll tell you
George
right now.
Costanza from George Costanza from Seinfeld. Jason Alexander.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Was it?
I think it's Jason. He's voicing
Wayne
somebody.
Knight. Wayne Knight.
Oh, I'm sorry, Wayne Knight.
Wayne Knight. Jason Alexander, somebody else, but yeah, Wayne Knight from
But that's still pretty
Seinfeld
cool,
and
though.
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park.
Oh, that's right.
That
Yeah.
sneaky guy got what he deserved in Jurassic Park.
Actually,
Heck
pretty
yeah.
good casting.
Yeah.
when you think
Trying to
about
make
it.
that
I thought it was
money.
funny. They just made Penguin Jewish. Like, who just
Alfred
would've thought of
Molina
that?
is
Who would've
Mr.
thought,
Freeze.
Alfred Molina is Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
I didn't
Oh,
realize
great.
that he was that. That's Doctor
He's got a
Octopus.
great voice. Great voice
Yeah.
actor. Then, so
Yeah, that big people.
make sure you guys check out Harley Quinn, especially if you're a fan of the lore and the comics and
It's
a lot
really
of the
funny.
mythology.
It's
It's
good.
it's
It's
just
good.
something to really enjoy because it's really funny, but it also, as much as it is a parody, it still is something
It's
that
still
fits in
kinda
line
serious.
with it still fits in line with the character and who they are. They don't just try to go over the top and do versions of these
Mhm.
characters that you don't know. You can still identify with who they are.
Yeah.
So it was that real balance of parody and mythology and lore, which
Yeah.
I find was very interesting because you don't see that.
And I think it fits in right with the kind of animation that's
Mhm.
popular right
Oh,
now. the
yeah.
adult animation.
Yeah.
And like
Yes.
what people are looking for. I think like
Mhm.
it's right up the alley. If like
Oh,
you're
yeah.
into all that Adult Swim stuff,
Exactly.
this is a show you should check out.
That's
So-
true.
And all that being said, let's move on to something very serious. I know Jimmy is going to have a field day with this topic.
Am I?
Let's talk about Frank Miller's legacy. He's written some of the most influential stories and helped usher in a new form of adult storytelling to both comic fans and crossover mainstream audiences, with Daredevil and Batman being the obvious examples. But considering he went completely off the deep end in his later career, more so with Batman, how does this impact his earlier, more acclaimed work?
I don't think it does anything to his classic stories like The Dark Knight Returns,
Year
Batman
one.
Year One.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I kind of feel like, as with artists, if you make a great work of art and then you make a bad one, the bad one doesn't
Mhm.
erase the existence of
So,
the great work of art.
Definitely.
Well, I think
not.
Yeah.
before we get involved, if you guys don't know Frank Miller, he actually, but let's talk a little bit. He was, he's written 300. He's written
Sin City.
He's written Sin City.
was
He was also the version of Daredevil that the dark anti-hero. That was honestly all Frank Miller. Before that, Daredevil wasn't even.
He was in a yellow suit.
He was in a yellow suit. Stan Lee and was it Jack Kirby who
Yeah.
created him? He was more of a swashbuckler who was not popular. He was a C-lister.
Yep.
And then Frank Miller started writing him, and he added Electra. He had the Kingpin be his main villain. He added an element of ninjas, martial arts, Stick and the Chase. That was all Frank Miller. So he took a C-lister to one of Marvel's more popular characters. And he wrote one of the greatest Daredevil stories ever, Born Again, which was based off of, it was pretty much inspired. Season 3 of Daredevil was pretty much inspired by Born Again. Great storyline. And then he wrote, obviously, Year One. He wrote Batman. He wrote The Dark Knight Returns, which is one of my favorite Batman stories. And then in his later career, he kind of went off the deep end, mainly so with
Batman.
All-Star Batman and Batman and Robin, where he's
Awful.
very it's supposed to be a prequel to The Dark Knight Returns, and he just makes Batman so unlikable. He makes him a psychopath. He acts very childish at times, and it's just not in line with who the character is and what we know and understand about him.
He turned Batman into like a sadist who takes
Yeah.
way too much pleasure in breaking the bones of criminals, cackling as he's torturing criminals, snatching up little Robin and screaming at him, "I'm the goddamn Batman."
So yeah, if you guys have ever heard that before, that
It's from
came
Frank
from
Miller.
Frank Miller. He
But-
actually wrote Batman saying that. And
Yeah.
Frank
not
Miller,
only that, but sorry, let me just get to this real quick. He actually, Batman is just not that compassionate person, that sympathetic person that, he's definitely flawed. He's disturbed, but he just goes completely over the deep end. And he has Dick Grayson. He actually is Dick Grayson in The
Your
Dark
boy.
Knight Strikes Again. He actually becomes a Joker because of all of the mental torture that he endured at the hands of Batman, and he snatched him up and recruited him in a war and didn't even give him an option and didn't have that and knowing that he was somebody born through tragedy, came from tragedy like he did, and he snatched up and said, "Oh, you're going to be in a war," and left him in the Batcave to fend for himself, eat rats, and then when Alfred intervened and showed him care and compassion, gave him food, he got mad at Alfred and was like literally about to beat Alfred up.
Oh, that's a whole different side of that.
It's just so. What do you guys think? Hearing all that, how do you view Frank Miller now?
This is what I'm saying. I'm not gonna take anything away from his old work. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I'm gonna see it. Like the way James said, even though you have something, future work that might not be as good as your previous work, it just depends on how the fan or everyone sees him as their perspective at the end, bro. Because me, I'm gonna still see him as a great, artist.
Definitely.
He's always gonna be the greatest artist that
Definitely.
not the greatest artist that I know, but he's always gonna be a great artist that I've known.
Writer.
Writer.
He is an
Yeah,
artist.
well, he's
too.
an artist. Yeah,
Well, mainly,
writer.
more so writer.
Yeah, but he does.
Writers are
So
artists,
continue.
though.
Yeah, he's an
Writers
artist.
are artists.
Yeah.
Well, I think he mainly focuses. He's more known for his writing than his art, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But no, if you think about art, is not
Don't get
necessarily just
technical.
painting or drawing or anything. Art is
art is
anything.
just self-expression.
Art is just
or imagination.
self-expression.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
So he's expressing himself by writing. So that's a story. That story is
Mhm.
Yeah,
He's
definitely.
a storyteller.
I agree.
That's
with
what I'm saying. He's an artist. That's artistic. That's artistic.
Oh yeah,
right there.
definitely.
Very
I
good.
agree.
So, but what I'm trying to say is that yeah, I'm not gonna take, even though his future work was not as best as his previous work, I'm not gonna remember him as one of those dudes that. All right, so this is where that this question goes down the line, bro. Are you gonna remember him for his old work or his new work?
Definitely his old stuff.
All right, awesome. So that's all that really matters when it comes down to this question, and that's the same way I'm gonna feel. His newer work is not gonna take anything away from his
Yeah.
old work.
He kind of just reminds me of
It
the
sucks.
Stephen King of comic writing.
Stephen King never fell off like that. Though.
It's
Yeah,
sucks.
I said in a more exaggerated way, in a more extreme
You know what
way.
he is? He's like the Rolling Stones. Nobody really cares.
Wait, that's more of a.
Nobody really cares
description.
for like the music they've made in the last 30
For
years.
the Stones.
At least as far as I know. Maybe somebody out there does. But they're always going to be legendary for the music they made the 60s, 70s, and 80s. It's never their legacy isn't erased. So I really don't like All-Star Batman and Robin. However,
Nobody does.
I actually
without
talked
a
to a
doubt.
friend who
I
does
definitely
like
don't
it,
either.
and he told me
It was good.
that I took it too seriously. That you should view it as parody, as not straight face. I'm like, I guess maybe.
It's like
but
Batman and Robin, the live action.
But it's
one.
it's
Yeah.
meant to
But-
be a prequel
Arnold.
to like the Dark Knight Returns.
That's where
and-
yeah. So I kind of feel like Batman Year One, Dark Knight Returns, all these contributions are incredible. Like Frank Miller will always go down as one of like
well, even
the
Daredevil too. Like
yeah,
he
the
turned a
ultimate
C-lister
legends in
into one of the more
Yeah,
popular
this is why
Marvel
we
characters,
both-
and
yeah,
that's the version of the character. That's the version of the character most people know, identify. Oh yeah, that's Daredevil.
yeah. His Daredevil is actually it. Stan Lee's version of Daredevil is not what people love.
Would have died
about
out probably
Daredevil.
without his contributions.
Yeah,
Honestly,
that's true.
that's just the honest
So
truth.
I think it's kind of hard to take away someone's legacy, but I do think that his later Batman work is absurd. I don't like it. It's Batman is far too psychotic. Where I understand Bruce Wayne as a damaged person, but he's supposed to be deep down somebody who cares.
Yes.
He's compassionate. He's
He has a
flawed.
heart.
He has a heart. He doesn't know how to show affection the best
He's a
way.
tough-
Yeah. This version of Batman and All-Star Batman and Robin, he is straight up
Psychopath.
unhinged. And like to be honest, the version that's in Batman and Robin, if that Batman existed, he shouldn't be in the real world. He should be arrested and taken to prison if that version of Batman actually existed.
Exactly.
So that's kind of my
Yeah.
take on it. But
Me
he's
too.
a great writer. I feel like a lot of people just kind of lose sight of things as they get a little bit older.
Right.
And I think that as he's gotten older, I think he's might have grown a little bit more cynical and angry. And I think it's
It
kind
could
of
have been that.
reflecting in the writing where
Yeah.
his other older stuff was still gritty, still like
Yeah.
mean, but it didn't seem like it was bending something to be something that it shouldn't. Now it's just like it doesn't work for me anymore. But Frank Miller is a legend, and I
Yeah.
don't want to no disrespect at
Yeah,
all. It's
definitely.
just your new stuff just does not work for me.
Yeah.
But you'll always be a legend.
Yeah,
in my
always,
eyes. Yeah.
especially-
doubt.
It was just a new take.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So-
that he thought was gonna be creative. But
you guys are
somehow
looking for
fall off
good-
more.
You guys
Yeah.
are.
Have you read it, Josh, or have you had a chance to look at All Star Batman and Robin?
Not fully, but I have read a little bit.
Don't
of it,
just
yeah.
skip it.
I mean,
Open a
I mean,
page, say you read it, and then
like I said, it's
throw
a
it in
new
the-
take.
throw
So
it in the
it's like
fireplace.
okay. I
Mm.
mean, yeah, superheroes, but if he's psychotic, I do want to enter the world that he's in. Like maybe different, but
I guess if you
Like,
could look at it that way, that makes sense. Like, I mean,
it's something new. It's something that you're not expecting. Everybody expects, like you said, Batman has a good heart. Like you said, this is a whole different aspect of he doesn't become the right Batman that people really see, but in that world,
Mhm.
it does work. So what is so fucked up in that or effed up in that world that what he does there is basically okay. So
I mean,
Okay,
I think it was more for shock value. I
No,
don't
no,
even
no,
think
no,
there
no.
was a real.
I kind of agree, but there is one thing that I need to highlight that you said. Frank Miller did say this about his version of Batman. He did say that Batman had gotten too soft, and he said it seemed a little bit extreme that a guy dressing up as a bat would come out into this really nice world and beat the crap out of criminals. He said it seemed kind of dumb, so he had to make the world meaner. He had to make it a lot harsher. So maybe
Yeah.
in his view, he's making a Batman for the times, I guess. So I could kind of see that. but that somewhat relates
does
to
it
a little bit what you were saying about.
But does it correlate to
version.
what he did before, or is it just a whole new take?
I
of
mean,
what-
they say it's supposed to be the prequel to the Dark Knight.
It's supposed to be the same continuity with
But
the Dark
I
Knight
just
Returns.
ignore that.
And yeah,
okay,
so do
yeah.
I.
If
I
you
just-
just take
so
it
do
as
I.
I
its
don't
own
believe
and
it.
not like these
Yeah, I don't believe that
continuity,
at
it'll be
all.
different.
If you guys are looking to read some great quality comics, definitely look into his stuff where he reinvented Daredevil from the 80s. Born Again is probably one of his greatest stories. Check out Batman Year One, The Dark Knight Returns. Sin City is also really great. So Frank Miller during that time was great.
Okay,
so.
here's one more thing I'm gonna say. All right, Sin City as an example. I love that comic. It's a great comic book.
It is.
Total Frank Miller. But I feel like he's been writing that so long where everything in Sin City is sleazy and trashy and nothing is ever good that he's starting to apply that style to Batman. And I think that's where the problem is starting to come in. You gotta remember you're not writing Sin City anymore.
Yeah.
Yes,
Could
there's
be.
similarities. There's both Gotham and Sin City are supposed to have a
Or
noir
you're just
feel.
adding
Right.
Batman to that world, like you
Yeah,
said.
so but it's not the same thing.
Yeah, you're 100% right. That's definitely true. So check out those early Frank Miller stuff, and you'll definitely be in for some really great stories and writing. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
this is an interesting development that just happened. An animated Batmobile kids series titled Batwheels is in the works at HBO Max. I've heard complaints from people about this that remember when kids cartoons were such quality that adults could enjoy, and that's kind of been the sentiment with regards to this. So knowing that the show is obviously geared towards small children, is that a fair critique?
I thought this was Cars Batman version.
That's what it looked like to me. They haven't really revealed too much information, but looking at the Batmobile, that's what it
I mean,
looked
nothing
like.
against Cars because Cars was
No, it's
good.
for
You know, it
kids,
was
you know,
awesome
yeah.
for it being Pixar, Disney Pixar. I get intertwined with that.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I'm. You know what I'm saying? I just feel not conflicted. I understand what they're trying to do because kids nowadays, the younger,
Yeah.
babies or kids growing up, they're into this kind of stuff. Like look at Baby
Yeah.
Shark. Baby Shark was a freaking hit, and
That's my jam. I play that
and
every
you know
day
what
after
I'm
I get out
saying?
of here.
So things like that with this
We're
new
not friends anymore,
generation.
Yes, we are.
That's what I'm trying to say. Things like that
Yeah,
with this
that's
new
the
generation, bro. It's just the way it is right now, you know. So it's not the same, and it does suck. I ain't gonna lie, it does suck because, like you said, back then, kids, cause even though as a all right, so the
It
cartoons
just
we saw
seems like
growing
it
up,
downgraded a lot.
Still,
the
to what
cartoons
I'm-
we saw growing up, we will still want to watch as adults right now.
They're still
Yeah.
watchable.
And
Yeah.
then I don't know. I just seeing
See-
this kind of thing. I'm not intrigued to
I'm
be
not-
honest. I'm not intrigued.
I'm kind of with you on that. Where I get the complaints like our cartoons were better, and I'm not trying to sound like some old ass millennial.
No, you're acting like a boomer.
Yeah,
you're
no,
right.
and they're
Okay,
making
you're
it
right.
like
No,
and-
but
Yeah.
I feel like a
Well,
lot
they
of
have some
cartoons now
new
talk
ones.
down to kids. However, having said that, it is a children's show and it's aimed at children. You can only complain so much at an adult as an
Exactly.
adult
Yeah.
that
Exactly.
a children's show
Exactly.
is not
That's my sentiment exactly.
Or they're
tailored
just-
towards you.
They're
like,
just trying to
grow
get.
up. We have a
they're just
plenty
trying to
of-
get superheroes into little kids.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
if
we
it-
have
a
if
lot
you
of
can't
adult
see them
material.
as
Yeah.
action figures or actual humans, if it attracts a kid, either
Mhm.
being like you said, right now toddlers are really into
Yeah.
cars.
'Cause, I
are,
mean,
It's
all
like-
that.
we already
it's-
got
so they
Harley
could
Quinn in the
bring
show.
out-
Mhm.
We got the Batman.
It's just more. It's just
This
more-
the-
for me. It's
the
just
Joker
marketing.
movie.
Yeah.
I feel like we've done so much adult Batman that I think it's only fair that kids can have their own version of Batman.
Well, not
every-
even kids, like
No, I mean,
more
I
that
wouldn't
younger
know- I
demographic,
expect-
like
I mean, don't
preschool,
they-
toddler.
Don't they already
they-
have like Lego Spider-Man?
Hey,
Like,
yeah, they
as
had Lego
shows?
Batman and all
Like,
that.
no, like those are shows too
Yeah.
that they have. So you
Yeah.
already know that they're attracting things that are like
Yeah.
for
So,
kids.
I'm
just
okay
implementing
with
heroes
them.
Yeah.
into it.
That's like I don't really
No.
have a problem with it because
remembered.
if they want to make like a Peppa Pig version of Batman or a Bluey version for kids, what is
What harm is
that's
there in that?
obviously just
Exactly.
geared towards them. It's very,
Yeah.
very, very niche. Like it.
There's
'cause
no
it can
harm
be-
in having a kid's Batman
Yeah,
show.
I just feel like it's something that just people start complaining and oh well, it was better in my day because we had Batman the animated
Yeah,
series.
you
don't,
just
we
can't
had-
don't
compare.
be
You
that
can
person.
never
You're gonna
compare,
sound
yeah.
old.
Just
You
do your
can't
own
compare.
thing.
And
You
even
say
if you
that.
do,
Just
even if
don't
you do, you
watch
can't
it if you're not
But
gonna
this is
watch
what
it.
I want to, in the last input on my part. If it does well, moving forward, what are they going to do with it as the kids keep growing older? I don't think they're going to.
I think it's to
No.
get
Like-
them into the characters.
Yeah, I
that way they
know,
could
but
sell
nah,
the
check
all
it
those
though.
products.
So
But
once
check
they
it though.
once they
Training
reach,
them.
well, yeah,
No,
because once they reach
Consumers
the
in
age-
training.
they-
Exactly.
It could just
Alright,
be from a marketing perspective
Check-
too,
alright,
because
this
obviously
is what
remember
I'm-
like with
and that's what I
Batman,
said from the
with like
beginning.
Batman and
But
Robin.
this is
the
what I'm
movie-
trying to say though. It could be a way to intrigue people, get new young generation into it. But
Set up
say
the
it
future
works, bro.
audiences.
If it works, if that's the new golden nugget for the new generation
Yeah.
moving forward, that's what I'm
It's not.
asking.
It's just gonna
you don't know
downgrade.
that though.
It's-
You don't know
it's gonna
that. You
downgrade
don't
for
know that
some
though.
reason. If
You
we
don't know that.
we don't know
You
that
don't
yet.
know that.
I
You don't know that at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it really matters because like they're still
doesn't
going to be
matter,
doing very
yeah.
successful with what they're doing and what's
No, what
working for
DC
them.
hasn't been as successful as I've been saying multiple times in every week, day in and day out when it comes to it, week in and week out. DC they're trying right now so hard to keep up with Marvel. They're just they're
feel
not
like
putting all their eggs on one basket basically.
Yeah, but I feel
They're
like
just-
they're figuring things out.
Things are getting
That's-
better for them.
And this is one
Honestly.
of those things I'm mentioning, bro. I don't think this is a move where it's just gonna be a one and done kind of thing. I think moving forward, the kids really like this. This is why I'm asking. What do you, if it works out,
It could mean
where do
that
you see
more
this moving
kids-
forward?
More kids shows, more superhero kids shows is a possibility. But at the same time, I don't think more superhero kids shows doesn't mean that they're going to stop making superhero
Yeah,
movies.
they're
aimed at
definitely not going to.
adults.
They're not going to switch
no,
gears
yeah,
and go
I never
that route.
said that.
But
it
it'll
just-
give
it-
more variety to
It's
the
the
market.
range of what
Yeah.
I'm saying. It's
I
just
think
expanded
The
range.
main thing is they're just trying to appeal to that wider demographic and not have it just be young adults and adults. They're trying to figure out ways
Because
to really
they want
get
to make
that
these
younger
movies for
demographic.
years,
And
and
Yeah.
they need to get the little kids. They
Mhm.
need to turn them into
Yeah.
fans
I know,
now.
but
so
Marvel's
when they
not
Get
grow
them to
doing
buy
up.
the toys and invest in.
But Marvel's
it's a
not
marketing.
doing that. This is why I'm saying. This is why I
Yeah,
say
they
DC
do.
is trying so
Yeah,
hard.
they do. I have
But
a
like
nephew
something
who's like,
mobile,
all the
no, but something
Marvel stuff
mobile
is-
like this with vehicles, or let's say Iron Man
Well, I mean,
had
they
his
have a-
own little.
But what of them has like a vehicle like the Batmobile or has something like that?
No,
But do they
They're
have a
not-
show,
they're not
or
gonna
are they
put it-
trying to
they're
make a
not gonna-
show of it? Though is what I'm trying to
They're
say.
not going to make a kid's version of the Punisher's battle van.
This is what I'm trying to say. They're not gonna make a version, a Ghost Rider either, right? And a freaking.
no.
This is
but
what I'm trying to say.
the
DC is
Batman
trying.
were-
All I'm saying is DC is trying hard right now.
We need Spawn for toddlers.
On for toddlers, you
Yeah.
want to see it.
Rocking
I'm saying
the
DC is
cradle.
trying
I
hard.
don't think it really matters. They're trying to appeal to a younger demographic. I don't think
I'm
there's
cool with
anything
it.
wrong with that. Yeah,
I'm cool with it.
I'm just.
we just enjoy.
And if we
Whatever
don't like it,
happens,
hey, it
happens.
wasn't meant for us anyway.
If my niece
Yeah,
or
well,
if my
it is
nieces or
enough for
nephews
us.
want to watch it, then I'll sit down and watch them and say, hey, when you're 10 years old, I'm gonna go out and buy you your first Batman comic.
Yes.
But-
Kind of like training wheels,
Yeah.
so you could be a fan in the
Exactly,
future.
exactly. Trying to make fans for life. It's
So
a good
parents-
branding. It's a good branding
think of it
Yeah.
like that.
branding
gotta
idea
start-
from them.
You got to start with
Oh,
training
man.
wheels
Yeah.
before you can take off
So-
on your two-wheeler.
Moving on from that.
Wait, you skip training wheels?
Yeah, I went. I kept eating shit until I knew how to ride a bike.
Good for you.
That's the only way you're gonna learn. Keep
Yeah.
falling down and get back up, homie.
So moving on.
That's the way I grew up.
Moving on from that, there's a rumor coming from insider Daniel RPK's Patreon account that Marvel Studios is reportedly considering
Patreon.
having different actors cameo as alternate versions of existing MCU
And a tip.
characters in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Possibly Tom Cruise playing a Tony Stark from a different universe. Just hearing it out loud,
It
does
sounds.
it sound pretty cool?
It
It sounds
funny.
ridiculous, funny, but I could believe it though.
I believe
It
it.
could.
I wouldn't mind seeing something, even if it's not Tom Cruise. You know what I'm saying? Even if they do bring some sort of, these were the whole multi-version. You know what I'm saying? The multiverse comes in because they're trying
Yeah.
to bring supposedly like even
They do it in
DC.
the comics, so
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
do it in the
there's no
comics.
way-
Why not? There's
I
no
don't-
harm in it. So
Yeah.
why not try
I-
to bring that into real life now, not with movies and all that?
Isn't one of them supposed to be a John Krasinski version of Captain America? I've read
That would be
something.
interesting
way.
because
Don't-
he was in
Don't-
the
I did
I
not hear that.
actually, to be
he would
honest,
have
I
gotten
wouldn't
the
mind
role.
it.
given that he's doing that Jack Ryan CIA show, it's not really that surprising that he could do. I'm like, he seems like he could be one of those all
I see-
American. I totally see it.
I see him
Makes
more
sense.
as Reed Richards.
I would rather see that,
That would definitely.
I would
think
rather
he fits
see
that
that.
more. I don't think he
Krasinski?
can
but
pull
I
off
do
the-
think that he can pull off Captain America.
Krasinski?
The different Captain America. This is not
Different.
the Chris Evans Captain
Yeah, it's
America.
a
Remember,
completely different.
but I can
version.
picture him possessing that
It's interesting. So
righteousness.
when Multiverse of Madness was
Sorry,
first
Frisbee.
announced, it seemed like it was supposed to be more of a horror, but now it seems like they're moving away from that. I don't know if
and
that's
they
just
moved
me.
away by hiring a director who started off in
Exactly.
horror.
That was
Evil
it.
Dead.
That's
what's the
why
weird
when
thing.
he first was announced,
They
when
said-
Sam Raimi was first announced, I thought that's why they were going to
We're
add
moving away
elements of
from horror, and we're gonna hire a horror director.
All right,
It,
but
it
do you-
makes sense. It
do you-
makes-
I understand that concept of it. I was questioning that too. Like, okay, they made it horror and they're moving away from it.
yeah.
Or do you think it was more just not horror, but more not dark either, but in a way where like they were trying to make it well, I guess a darker version, but just not a freaking
like a standard regular superhero
like a
movie?
standard regular horror movie was what I'm trying to say.
Well,
Yeah.
it would
Some
be
sort
hard
of-
to just have that, but it just seemed like when he was first hired and knowing what the direction they wanted to take this movie, that they wanted to add those elements of horror,
The horror,
especially
yeah,
the
I
whole
remember.
multiverse of madness. That definitely translates to something that's going to play on
That's
those
what got
horror
me excited
aspects.
from
But
the
it
beginning.
seems like they're moving away from that now, and
Yeah.
I think it's cool because I think like there's been a long fan cast of if the Avengers happened in the 90s where people were saying Tom Cruise was fan casted as Tony Stark. So
Thank God
I think
that
it's
never
interesting.
happened.
No, he can't.
I
So
don't
think
think. You know what? Here's the thing with that. I could see it, and I think it's ridiculous at the same time.
Yeah.
I could
That's
kind
just
of see.
funny.
I'm like, on some level, I guess it kind of does make sense that Tom Cruise could be a Tony Stark.
a
But I
very,
kinda-
a very, very short Tony Stark.
Well, camera, you could shoot him a different way.
Stilettos.
Yeah,
Stilettos.
stilettos, and then shoot him like this. Shoot him. If you're
Platform shoes.
Yeah, platform shoes or
He was
something.
a big fan
so-
of the 70s.
I don't know. I mean, it's
It-
ridiculous, but I could see it where I
It
kind
would
of
be
feel like
entertaining if
it's ridiculous and not as ridiculous as it sounds at the same time.
That's why it feels like they're moving away from those horror. Well, we don't know if this is true. It could be that it's just a rumor, but I mean, it is just a rumor, but it doesn't have to be something that's true. It just feels like it's something that they can definitely play off.
Now
of.
that's
And
what I was agreeing with Nick on,
Mhm.
where we don't know if it's true or not. You know, it might be something to like, not to take the ease off of it, because obviously that's what intrigues us, right? The horror part of it being all that going on. But what if they're just changing up the news or the
Just the direction.
direction of it
Mhm.
for the fact where like, okay, we're it's deceiving point in a way.
It could-
Where
it could
they're
be.
just trying to deceive you guys. Like, okay, it might not be full on horror, but it's gonna be
But there'll be
split
some,
some
yeah.
way
Yeah,
somehow. Yeah.
that's that's
Well, I
definitely how I
mean,
see
either
it.
way, just
Horror
because
elements.
one of
Horror
the villains
element.
in there looks like the devil, basically. The
And-
he's like,
Who,
I-
Mephisto?
I guess it
They
kind of
kinda
makes
have
sense
that
now that
take,
you
yeah.
think about it. If you ever seen the Evil Dead movies, they're pretty wildly over the top horror movies. Now, I would
Well,
argue,
more so the second
the
and,
second,
and
third
Army
one.
of Darkness.
but even
Yeah.
though the first one was serious, it's still pretty over the top and absurd when you really take it at
Mhm.
face value. It's still over the top. Sam Raimi is the first person to ever make like a horror superhero with Ash Williams, Bruce Campbell, and the Evil.
oh, he's pretty
Dead
much
movies.
a superhero, right?
Yeah, yeah. He's basically the only one that maybe other than Van Helsing, the only like superhero that would be like a horror superhero. So I guess I could see all that fitting together.
Yeah, it just sounds interesting. I think it would be cool, and it's something that can be different. It could be very ridiculous, but still makes sense within the context of what they're going for and the whole multiverse aspect, and then traveling to
Mhm.
different universes and dimensions. And like that's Tom Cruise as a different as their alternate or as their version of Tony Stark. It would be cool. I would like to see it, but it just the more I say it out loud, just the more they're moving away from those horror elements, which is what I was very
Yeah.
excited and very intrigued to see, especially once Sam Raimi
it's like
got
a
on
live.
board, and I thought we were gonna get like an Evil Dead version of MCU
I know,
film.
but
That
Sam
would be
Raimi,
great.
as good as he is with his horror movies, he still did like a great Spider-Man that was not
Mhm.
horror based.
which was weird.
But you could see it coming in with like
Venom.
the Doctor Octopus scene.
Yeah.
Which
For
one?
example, when they're operating on Doctor
Mhm.
Octopus and they think he's dead,
Yeah.
and then the
Oh,
arms
yeah.
come and it scratch him. Like,
Yeah.
that is a total Evil Dead
Mhm.
sequence. The way it's filmed, the screaming,
Even,
the intensity of it all.
Even
Yeah.
like some
Yeah.
things in the
whole
first,
aspect of it.
Yeah.
is
even
like
some
just
things in the
a-
first Spider-Man movie, they were very similar to Darkman. Actually, like they had like the
Just
whole
another
web.
Sam
There were
Raimi
things, and then
superhero.
yeah,
Yeah.
then looking back on it, and then knowing like watching Darkman and then watching the Evil Dead movies, I was like, oh, I was wondered as a kid, like why were there some frightening elements in it? And then like I grew up and
Mhm.
started seeing Sam Raimi's work actually, and I'm like, okay, this makes a whole lot of sense because even though
They always
that
implement
sneaky guy, even though I'm doing a superhero movie, I'm gonna sneak in little elements
Yeah.
of horror because that's me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's every director.
But it totally works.
They always
Yeah, it
direct
does.
versions.
It
yeah.
does.
Totally
but-
works.
And we're gonna get to something we haven't revealed. This is probably the last piece of big news that was revealed at DC Fandom, or well, shown, I should say. We haven't.
Word?
We haven't
What?
talked about Wonder Woman
Let us
84.
know. Let us know.
Obviously, the
Oh,
second trailer was shown at DC Fandom, and we had our first official look at Cheetah. Does this look like a film that will ease fans' concerns about DC films, or just reinforce them?
I think it's going to be
Mm,
successful because the
it
first
will.
one was well liked. It
Mm.
was well received. It made a lot of money. I don't see too much negativity going towards the Wonder
No,
Woman
and
Yeah.
franchise.
overall,
at
I
this
do see
point.
Kristen Wiig as Cheetah too. I think
Yeah,
she plays the role.
It's good.
Yeah, I can't. I
The
have nothing negative to say about
CGI
it.
looked
Maybe-
a little shoddy, but just
that's
because
what-
we're
yeah.
Its trailer
We're-
is still
yeah,
Yeah,
we're
maybe they
still
could, yeah.
Yeah.
they're not done
Let's not have
rendering
production.
and finishing the CGs, but it looked pretty cool to finally see her in her cheetah form. I think the thing I'm most excited for, everything looks good. I'm really intrigued to see what happens, like how exactly Steve Trevor comes back. And
For
I'm
real.
more
It's gonna
excited
be an
for
illusion.
I'm more excited for Pedro Pascal as Maxwell Lord, because Maxwell Lord, he's a big overarching character for the Justice League in the comics, and he has mind control powers, which they kind of hint at that. And I'm thinking, I don't know if he's altered into how he gets his powers. It's not a natural power he gets, but also too, he's like the head of a corporation. He's very charismatic.
And he's the Mandalorian.
He's the Mandalorian.
Oh, damn.
I expect him to say this is the way somewhere in there.
Which is coming
But
back.
So I think they kind of hinted that he's gonna get his powers somehow, or he's gonna be somebody who's gonna control the masses through the media. We don't exactly know what his role is gonna be exactly. They're keeping it very hush hush. So I think he's also somebody who can develop as a long character for the Justice League, or a character who's gonna be around a lot in the
while.
future. Plus, too,
Yeah.
he's just a really great actor. I just really love anything Pedro Pascal does. So I'm really excited for that part. The action looks pretty good. It's just so cool when she like lassos and catches hold of the
Lightning.
and swings
That's
the lightning.
I
That's
think Patty
badass.
Jenkins did a pretty good job with the action sequences in the first one.
Oh, she did.
Yeah.
No Man's Land is
And-
probably one of the better sequences in a superhero
And
movie.
you want to hear something crazy? You know the No Man's Land sequence where Wonder Woman comes out and it's like a glorious moment where
Mhm.
you see her in all her Wonder Woman glory.
Mhm.
The studio wanted to cut that scene.
It was such a.
I
It was
am
the
not
best
joking.
part of the
Patty
movie.
Jenkins had to argue and fight with them to
Mhm.
keep that scene in, and that just shows me, I was like, how? What is wrong with these people? Like, to take away the biggest money moment in the movie. Why would you
Exactly.
want to get?
Yeah.
I've never understood why the studio
Mhm.
execs wanted to take away the No Man's Land sequence. Like Wonder Woman's
Exactly.
big coming out. I'm like, that's
Exactly.
pretty lame.
Well, before we go any further, huge shout out to
Yeah.
Caitlin Deschelle. She was Wonder Woman's main stunt, Gal Gadot's main stunt double in that movie,
Movie?
in the first one, and she did most of the action and fighting in that sequence alone. So stunt doubles never get their due credit. So you're awesome, Caitlin, XMA fan.
I
And-
know. Before we move on, my bad. Could you? I know it's not gonna happen. Do you think Steve Trevor comes back because of the Flash some way somehow?
Yes, he's gonna come.
Yeah,
back.
it definitely
You
seems
think
like they're
it
going to
looks
be
like-
playing with
you
that.
think he
Yeah.
just goes back some way somehow, changes a little something, and then she doesn't know it because obviously the timeline changes some ways. Like even the way the
I don't
whole
know how
said
to
it,
that
right?
could be a new
Maybe a rip in
I just a
reality or
little
something.
theory. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just bring that up there. But
That's if
my
you're making
bad.
it interesting, then you could bring in, like you said, it
Some
could
way,
bring in
yeah,
Flash,
some way to
or
make
like
it
you said, if
interesting.
he has the whole mind bending kind of thing. He
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
just make
Yeah.
it believe.
That's
that
why
he's
when
there,
he
but
said that,
in
I was like,
reality,
wait,
he's
well,
not
what
there.
if Flash probably has something to do with
That'd
it
be
too?
cool.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, open mind.
Just,
So-
yeah, exactly.
Looks good. Can't wait for it. And I
Yes.
think that's DC's next film coming out, and I think it's going to get pushed back again. So,
Ah,
but
man.
Well, they
We'll
don't want to
see.
do it streaming,
Exactly.
but then again, a lot of theaters are.
No, but now that we're
going
talking
out of
about Wonder
business.
Woman, did you hear how Patty Jenkins might consider doing a not a virtual stream, but you know, like
Just do it drive.
just do it. No. Like you know how there's apps where you could
Mhm.
live stream and all that stuff. I
Yeah.
think she might be considering doing something
Could-
like that.
could be. We'll see.
Yeah, but
It
I don't know.
depends.
I just want to put that out
So-
there because I heard something like that in the
Oh,
past
cool.
couple of days. or
So
something
Wonder
like
Woman
that.
84 looks good. Can't wait for it. Let's get on to the last topic of our day. I know Jimmy is going to be really pumped for this one too. Look at that excitement on his face and the hair rising up. He's pumped for this. So a 2-part animated film of Batman: The Long Halloween will be released next summer, and one part is going to be released during the summer and fall. Hopefully, as long I don't think it's going to get pushed back. But knowing that this is one of the most well-known, acclaimed Batman stories, do you guys feel it will live up to the hype?
Yeah.
Yes, and you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you with this one. The Long Halloween might be my favorite Batman storyline. I love it. I've read it over a dozen times. I love the artwork. I love the storyline.
Artwork
I
is
like how
dope.
cinematic it is. I like the portrayals of everything. To me,
Mm.
it's a perfect version of that. A perfect
Oh, yeah.
version of Harvey Dent before he was Two-Face. Because I love Harvey Dent as a character. I
Yeah.
think he's one
Oh,
of
yeah,
the most fascinating people in
yeah.
Batman mythology. And I think it's
Definitely.
important.
Even in the Batman,
The animated series?
well, even in the movie, I like them as
Oh, Aaron
Harvey.
Eckhart.
Yeah,
Aaron Eckhart,
Aaron-
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's a good-
Like I really love that they're gonna go in an animated film explore Harvey Dent in depth
yeah.
to explain, because I think that of all the villains in the Batman universe, who Two-Face was before he
Mhm.
became that is more crucial than it is to the Joker or
Yes.
the Riddler or Poison Ivy or anything. It's
because he actually converted. Like
Yeah.
there was something
Yeah.
that happened to him where
He
he's
was-
like,
he was in the trenches with Gordon and
Yes.
Batman, so he was that storyline is a great murder mystery.
Yeah.
It incorporates all the villains in a way that's pretty believable. It's surprising. It's well written. I'm excited, and I've loved all of the DC animated movies, and we'll
Mhm.
talk about this another time. The Killing Joke isn't very well received by a lot of people, and I've noticed
But I like
people.
it.
I like it.
Yeah,
I think
really
it's
liked
people
it.
And they had it on
complain.
Netflix.
Yeah, I think
I plead
people.
a fifth.
I had the
I think
book.
people complain about the first 30 minutes,
I plead a fifth.
but I actually like when they actually get to the Killing Joke part. How what they did once it gets to that part of the story. I think
Okay.
they did a good
Uh-huh.
job.
Okay.
They
I
should have
think they
just
did a
started the
great
movie
job.
from there.
I
plead a fifth.
Then just get past the 30
I
minutes.
plead a
first.
fifth.
Then just skip 30 minutes past if you don't like it. Damn.
I do it every time.
Okay. And then you had The Dark Knight Returns was a great adaptation. I have full faith in this. Do I expect it to be as good as the comic book? No.
No, never that.
Never
No,
that.
but I'm excited to see it in a new version.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I feel like I get to, because not everybody's into comic books, and I've been trying to share the story with people. Now it's going to be in a version that's going to
So
be
now you can get people to
easier.
watch it.
Yeah, I'm like,
Just sit down.
sit
look at
down.
it.
I know you ain't going to read the comic. So let's sit
Exactly,
down
because
and
there's
watch
always
it.
two. There's always two versions of different people.
Yeah.
Oh well, I like the book better. I like the movie better.
Mhm.
But it's like
It's like a conversation you
I
can
ain't
have.
gonna lie. The original story, which is always the book first,
Yeah.
is always gonna be the better storyline because
Yeah.
it includes more detail. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It goes deeper
It's the
into a
actual
story.
thinking thought.
But
Yes.
so long
of
as you don't expect the movie to be like
Yeah.
that, you'll be
Exactly.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean,
as
the Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and 2 were really good, and they were pretty consistent to the comic and
Oh,
pretty faithful.
and here's another thing: The Long Halloween is being two separate movies,
Mhm.
and it's a long storyline. So
It
I
makes
think
sense.
that gives it more chance that it's probably going to be really good, because the story would be too big for like an
Yeah.
hour and 20 minutes. Like they do.
Yeah,
So
you don't
it's
you don't
right
have to
there.
condense it. You can spread
But
it
to
out
make
and
you
have it be
wait?
an hour 45 minutes.
They did that
It's-
with The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
So
and the Dark Knight
Oh,
Returns
that
was
could
like
work.
5-6 months too. This is only going to be a couple months, if anything.
Yeah.
I'm
The
excited.
only thing that
That's gonna be dope.
I'm not as
It's gonna
like
be good.
the only thing getting me is the fact that we're not
Hopefully.
going to have Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill returning as Batman and the Joker.
I know that's
I-
who I
I
want.
think
don't mind
Troy
that, though.
Baker is
Yeah.
coming
I
back.
It's
don't
still going to
mind
be
that.
good.
No, I mind that. You may not, but I mind that. It's just, I mean,
But-
there are
That's
still
why
good
he
voices, and I
plead
think
the
it's still
fifth.
going to be good. But it's just a matter of those are the two. Especially
When you
that
see-
was the main reason why Killing Joke wasn't complete trash. Like it probably like it should have been.
That's why I feel you. I do agree with you on that point.
I
But you
plead a
can't.
fifth.
You're gonna
You
get
can't
smacked
always.
out
You
of
can't
those
always.
movies. You just-
Not saying it's your way, but you can't always have your way. You're not always gonna have.
Happiness.
I went to Burger King a lot when I was a kid. I
move
can't have it my
on,
way.
bro. Times move on. You know what I'm saying? So things are gonna be changing, whether we like it or not.
No, you're right. Like I'm
Things
just
are
saying
gonna
that
keep-
knowing
yeah,
that
it's
the
your personal
stakes and
feeling.
how
Yes.
hyped
Yes.
that this plot is and how hyped the story is, it would just make it better. The fact that it was voiced by Kevin Conroy and Mark
Oh,
Hamill
it
just
would.
signing those
Everybody
But
lines.
the
would
thing
want
is that
that, though.
that doesn't mean it's going to be bad though.
Yeah.
I've seen
That doesn't
plenty
mean
of-
it's going to be good.
But it's like we were talking about Frank
I plead
Miller.
the fifth.
Exactly. This is why we were talking about Frank, right?
Exactly.
Previous work. Just because you had well done previous work doesn't mean your new work is gonna come out as good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. No,
yeah,
I'm
you
still
might want it
excited.
to happen.
I definitely think it's going to be good. They usually handle these more acclaimed
You
storylines
just
really
wish
good.
it was the original voice.
Yeah, I think it's still gonna be good.
because
It
their
goes
bread and
with
butter
anything,
is
though.
fans. They have to handle it good, otherwise it's not going to have a good word of mouth, and it's not going
Yeah.
to sell well. Because a lot of fans wait to hear
Mhm.
What people
the word,
say.
what people are saying.
Yeah.
So they have to put.
I
effort
don't.
into it.
You usually do it.
But I don't.
It's still going to be
You're
good.
a doer.
I agree with him. I just do it, but
Nike
a lot of people.
sponsor
Do.
him.
A lot
Oh,
of
yeah, a
fans
lot
Just
of
do
people
it,
do.
Ruben.
Yeah.
Just do it.
So, with all that being said, that's all the time we have for
The
today.
long
But
Halloween. It's almost
it's going to be
Halloween.
awesome. Make sure you guys check it out before it comes out. And with all that being said, we're actually going to be doing something very special. We love what we do here.
That's right. That's
And
right.
doing this is
Very,
honestly
very
one of the highlights of our weeks. And because we want to show our appreciation to you guys, our awesome superhero aficionados, we're going to be giving away these 2 paintings. Can you hold up that Wolverine, please? This Wolverine and this Batman. So
That's right.
2 people one person's going to receive that and one person's going to receive that. So please make sure to follow us at Higher Passion on Instagram. And we're going to be putting up how you're going to be able to, we're going to make a post and you guys are going to be able to
Rock and
enter that
roll.
way. And we're going to be doing it. We're going to be announcing the winner probably on one of our next, we're going to probably stream it here on IG. So we'll announce more
Down with
updates.
that.
Just make sure to check out on Higher Passion Entertainment, and we'll make sure you guys get that because we're gonna be doing more of these in the future too. So make sure you guys check us out.
Be ready
And
for
so
it.
with all that,
Y'all
being
be ready.
that's all the time we have for today. Now, we here at Higher Passion Entertainment offer you so many different podcasts to get you going. But if you're wondered how we produce these shows so fast and with dope quality, we work with our friends at Productive Culture. Productive Culture offers full service recording, mixing, mastering, and podcast production. If you guys want to get your podcast going, hit them up and go to productiveculture.com/podcast and tell them Higher Passion Entertainment sent you. And you're going to get a discount on your first episode. Plus, your referral helps us out. So don't forget to go to productiveculture.com/podcast and let them know Higher Passion Entertainment sent you. Thank you guys so much for joining us. All of you awesome super aficionados. And make sure to check us out on IG.
And
like, subscribe. And two people are going to be winning those. So check us out. Thank you guys.
Stay tuned.